Here at Montreal 2016. You started a tour actually yesterday with Killswitch Engage.
Yeah, well, yesterday was actually a festival in Bangor, Maine, the land of Stephen King, and that was a great show. It was a great way to start this tour. So yeah,
How did it go? How did it start?
it was awesome. Huge crowd. Usually the first show of a tour, because we had been off probably about 2 weeks now since our European run, and usually the first show of a tour starting up, everyone's a little rusty, cobwebs or whatever. But last night it just came together. It was cool. Yeah.
It's the first time that Volbeat is on the Heavy Montreal bill. Are you excited to be here?
Absolutely. I played this festival I think in 2010 or 11, if I'm not mistaken, when I was with Anthrax, and it's a great festival. So yeah.
How do you think it compares to other North American events?
I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a big event, and it seems like it's growing. I haven't seen the crowd yet, but I mean, just from the backstage area and the catering and everything, it's on point. It's really
Here, so
yeah. Totally. It's going to be a good show tonight for sure.
Do you prepare something special for this tour? Or,
For the tour, I don't know. I mean, we got Killswitch Engage out with us, and they're an awesome band. I think the lineup's really cool. As far as what we're going to be doing, we're going to be trying out a lot of the new songs off the new record, Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie, and yeah, we're just going to be doing our thing.
can you tell us a little about that new record? It came out.
What do you want to know?
I mean, is it different than the previous records that Volbeat put out, or?
I think Volbeat is one of those bands that, it's just constantly evolving. The music's always evolving, and no two records are really alike, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know. We put these tunes together. We're really proud of it, and yeah, we're out here now. We're just gonna take it as far as we can take it.
Would you say that it has a different reception here in North America than in Europe?
The album or the band?
Both, actually.
I don't know. It feels like it's growing, worldwide. To be honest, even in Europe, we do really big stuff in Europe, but it also, even over there, it feels like it's growing. So it's cool. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, Volbeat's been really popular in Denmark for a long while, actually since they started.
Yeah.
And it's only recently, like in 2013 or something, I think, that you guys started getting big here in North America.
Okay.
Well, do you think that your input on the records had anything to do with that, or?
I'd like to think so. I don't know. I just do what I do, and I think it works really well with Volbeat and with the sound that was already there. I think,
You play guitar and you co-produce the albums also.
Yeah.
How much of an input do you have on music?
Well, with this record, one of the things that we did, it might be a little bit different from what these guys did in the past, but we spent a lot of time in the rehearsal room, in the pre-production, phase of it. So by the time we went into the studio, we were pretty well prepared. Like all the parts were there, and yeah, we, like I said, we spent a lot of time trying different ideas and throwing a lot of stuff out, and rearranging things. And one of the weird things though about this going into this record is we didn't have a bass player at the time, so the rehearsals were very guitar heavy. But because I ended up actually playing the bass on the record too. But during the rehearsals, I was thinking of the bass lines as we were working on the tunes and just coming up with ideas in my head. And as a producer, I'm always looking at it like looking at the big picture. It's never just about what I'm doing. It's about what the kick drum is doing, what the bass is doing, what the guitar is doing, and how it all works together. So yeah.
So do you think that producer input actually helped your guitar playing since you didn't have a bass player on this record?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if it helped my guitar playing. It's just, like I said, I'm always looking at it. Every time I go into an album, what my instrument is doing. It's what everything is doing and how it all works together. So, yeah.
And how different is it to release an album now in 2016 than it is, let's say, in 2000?
It's very different, obviously. well, these days, obviously, CDs and in record stores in general are hard to come by. You know, we travel all over the world, and one of our favorite things to do, you know, in each city is to go find the local record store, and you know, we're all music junkies in Volbeat. So, but you know, even a lot of our favorite stores are closing, and they're not there anymore, and it's crazy. So, obviously, streaming is taking off. It's really big. It's just different, you know. It's different. It's very different.
It does take a time getting used to, but are you using those streaming services or not a lot?
I do. I use Tidal because it's high definition streaming. You know, the thing is, the cool thing about, for me, what I found is it's introduced me to a lot of different bands and artists that I never would have heard of. You know, stuff that just pops up on the feed or whatever. And if I really dig something, I'll go out and buy it. You know, and that's just how I don't have to buy it because it's already there, but to support, you know, music and stuff, I always do that. So.
And for you as a musician, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for your career?
Streaming?
Yeah.
I think in the long run, it's a good thing, you know, because the more people that are exposed to the music, the more people are going to show up at the shows, you know. So, and we.
Do you think with the internet age, the role of distribution platforms will be as important as they were before? Or do you think it's going to be more skewed towards the musicians?
When you say distribution platforms, what do you mean exactly?
Record labels and people pressing CDs and all that.
That's, you know, I don't know if I can even answer that properly. I don't know. I mean, the music business is changing so rapidly. I don't think any of us know really where it's gonna go, where it's gonna end up. But I think at some point in the near future, they're gonna stop making CDs. I mean, that's obvious, you know, because you can't really. There's no stores to buy them anymore. You know, I don't know when, but it's you know they've been talking about it for a few years now. I guess we'll see. You know, like I said, the streaming thing definitely took off. One thing that definitely needs to happen though is you know, artist compensation. You know, the way artists get paid with streaming and stuff. That's you know, that's not totally right yet, but hopefully it will be. We'll see.
We actually saw in recent years a little comeback of a vinyl record. What do you think about that?
Yeah, vinyl is huge right now. It's massive. You know, so I don't know. I think that's a really cool thing. It's good. You know, we're happy that vinyl is really big. You know, growing up, we all grew up in the vinyl era. You know, that's what we were listening to as kids. You know, and I remember when CDs came out. That was kind of a traumatic, crazy, weird. Like it took me a minute to get my head around it. You know, but yeah. And the cool thing about vinyl is, you know, you got this big thing to hold and look at, and the artwork, and you know, it's very cool. Actually, it also sounds different as well.
And you have to put the record on the turntable and flip it over halfway through.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely part of the experience, right?
Yep. Vinyl has a different sound, you know, and the music has to get mastered differently for vinyl. It sounds arguably warmer, you know, and thicker, I guess, but yeah.
I find that you listen more when you have to sit down and listen to it than when you just put the CD in the car radio or something.
Yeah, that's true.
And what do you think of the state of rock and roll nowadays?
I think rock and roll is huge right now. You know, you know, just judging from the stuff we're doing and the festivals that we've been playing and just the overall, you know, attendance and everything, it's huge. You know, it feels really good.
And you think we are going to see a big boom in rock and roll like we had in the 70s or something like that?
A big boom, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely thriving and it's definitely alive and well for sure. You know.
Volbeat has quite a different package of influences. Many of them are rock and roll and old rockabilly, that kind of stuff. What kind of energy do you pull out of that old rock and roll?
What kind of energy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, to me, what attracted me to Volbeat initially was the you know, it's all the stuff that I grew up listening to as a kid, all rolled up in one. You know, all the different different styles and genres, and you know, because growing up, you know, I didn't just listen to metal. Like a lot of kids, a lot of my friends back in the day, it's like Slayer, you know, and that's all they listen to, and that's cool. It's just I always tried to keep an open mind, you know, with stuff, and I've always listened to a lot of different genres. I grew up in a household where music was a really important thing. My dad's very much into music, and you know, I listened to a lot of that stuff growing up. Elvis, you know, the Johnny Cash stuff from, you know, 50s doo-wop stuff. You know, I'm from New York City, so that stuff was really big way back in the day. So it all rubbed off on me, you know, and it definitely shaped me as a musician. So,
What's the best part?
I just love playing in front of people. I love that adrenaline rush, and especially when you're doing it with guys that you really get along with, and everything clicks, you know, every night on stage. It's really cool.
Better than that in the office, right?
I never worked a day in the office, so I don't know. I would imagine so, yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
And last but not least, quick question.
Mhm.
Axl Rose and AC/DC, what do you think about it?
It's not the AC/DC that I know and love. And, you know, interestingly enough, I actually just worked recently with Brian Johnson. I produced the record for this big comedian in the States. His name is Jim Brewer. And we did a rock/metal record, and you know, I wrote most of the music and played all the guitars and stuff on it. But we did a song called Mr. Rock and Roll, and Brian Johnson sings on that. So I got to work with him and produce him, and that was amazing. And he sang his ass off. He sounds awesome on the record. Such a nice guy, amazing. Like that was one of the coolest experiences of my life as a musician. You know, the first record I ever got as a kid was Back in Black, AC/DC Back in Black on vinyl, and that's what got me into music. So all these years later now, to have had the opportunity to work with him was pretty magical. So I don't know if that answers your question, but you know, Axl's great. You know, Guns N' Roses is killer. You know, they legendary rock band. It's just him and AC/DC doesn't really make sense to me.
It's not your thing, right?
I mean, whether or not he sounds good, that's not what we're talking about, I don't think. But it's just not the AC/DC that I grew up with, you know.
All right, well, Rob, we're out of time, so thank you very much. And we'll see you on stage in 2 hours' time, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I think we're on at 8:30.
All right.
Yeah.